Hey, folks, welcome back to the after show. I'm ChillForce, and I'm here to talk to you about Boogie 2988.
Oh, God.
Here we go again.
You should be familiar with the rest of the cast. We have Ken.
Hey.
Say hi, Ken. We have Plex.
Yes, sir.
And we have Zeph.
Ew.
And new to the show, special guest we have here, we've got Bud.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
First time caller.
Just to start off.
Long time listener, first time caller. Long time listener.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. We welcome you. So to get one thing out of the way, right out of the gate, we have to frame the conversation about Boogie, okay?
Yeah.
And probably the most important thing to get down is we really have to decide, in lieu of everything else that he's lying about, that he's faking, that he's faked the child abuse, he's faked the cancer, he's not even a man, he's wearing a fat suit. Has he also faked the mental illness?
I don't think he has it.
And I want to go around. But have at it, Plex. What do you think?
Listen, I think I said it on the last. Did I say it on the last episode? As somebody who grew up with a friend who was diagnosed with split personality, this motherfucker, I've never in my life seen somebody claim the level of mental instability he has with the level of self-awareness. Because people who are in people who are disassociating
right
exactly
now.
People who are disassociating do not know that they're disassociating. It's just like how he knew he had cancer, right? Like, fuck him. People who have had traumatic experiences, PTSD, they do not remember things. They don't have the ability to turn around and say, "Oh yeah, well, this is what's happening. I'm disassociating. I'm disassociating." Like, fuck you, dude. And this is exactly what.
One thing I'll say.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing I'll say is, when it comes to PTSD, some people remember every single exact
Some
detail,
do, yes.
but they won't remember what they ate for breakfast yesterday.
Yep. And
So-
He's claimed PTSD. He's claimed that in the past. Yeah. He hasn't claimed it recently.
And this
So
is
it was a
everything
big
at this
deal
point,
before,
Mhm.
and now,
Well,
he's not claiming
this is
it
the
on the
thing.
LolCow podcast.
This is the thing. He already stated, and I think it's unfortunate that nobody has brought this up. He already stated that he does not have the cancer card anymore. So he's just pulling everything out of his ass. Pulling everything.
Oh,
I'm
it's
gonna
a
kill
wrap.
myself.
It's a wrap.
Don't worry. I have a plan. I have a plan. I have a plan. It's like, fuck you.
No.
Go through with the plan.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. You don't have to worry about me.
I'm gonna wait until Wednesday to do it. I'm gonna wait until
Yeah.
Wednesday. To do
Yeah.
And then
No.
I have my birthday.
I'm at least gonna make it to my birthday. I'm at least,
Yeah,
I always told
exactly.
Desi, I'm gonna at least make it to my birthday.
And then you gotta feel
So-
bad for her too.
I'm having
Oh
a
no,
birthday.
Desi's taken care of. Desi's going to be taken care of.
Oh
You don't have to worry about that.
It's
No,
shit. Yeah. He's a complete piece of shit. Like, as somebody who has had members who legitimately have gone, family members and friends and exes who have gone through shit like that, it's not something that you joke about. It's not something that you even pretend that you have. I have a friend who, or I shouldn't say a friend, but I had an associate whom, while growing up, I got that "did you hear about X?" text from them. Blew his brains out because he couldn't handle the abuse from his father anymore. Didn't say anything to anybody, didn't talk to anybody, didn't call anybody to try and get them to stop him from doing it. Didn't ask and say, "Oh, it's good for you to call the police." No. Just grabbed his dad's gun, went into the room, pop, and gone. Fuck
Well,
Boogie.
let's hear from Bud. Bud, what do you think? Is Boogie mentally ill? Is he a different mental illness than what he's trying to present?
I mean, he's definitely got mental illness. I mean, you can't do the things that he does without having some kind of shit. And I do think that he was abused. Maybe not everything he said. But the reason I think he's abused is A, his brother can corroborate.
Corroborate.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I'm a retard. Community college. It's a great. Anyway. So his brother has stated that they were abused as children. So is his sister. Maybe not publicly, but she's definitely done it through like full Twitter replies and stuff like that. But she's also stated that you can't believe anything he's saying. So maybe she's not a good judge. But
Yeah.
I think he definitely went through some shit as a kid, and I think that really more than likely fucked up his brain. Do I think he was having a panic attack the other night? I do not. Do I think he was disassociating? No, not at all. For the same reason that everyone is saying is that if you're disassociating, you're not going to be able to say, I'm doing this right now. You know?
So you want to believe his brother, the liar, the guy who lies about cancer? Who's I saw the
Here's-
paperwork.
So-
He's
Here's
got
my
it.
point. Here's
So-
the point I'm gonna make real quick. I think personally what happens is Boogie has claimed all these things, and what he does is he Googles mental illness, he Googles certain things like symptoms and shit.
Yeah.
And I think that he compiles how he's supposed to act. He compiles trigger words he's supposed to say. And then once he says those words, he thinks people are going to back off. The problem is he's been caught up so many times throughout his entire life, like lying and shit. And he's using people to corroborate that have already lied for him on certain things. So it's like, who do you trust or what do you trust? And I don't see any redemption arc for Boogie. I think it's just a wrap. And personally, I don't want him back on the podcast because I don't want any amount of my donation or membership going to somebody that I'm not even going to say abuse, that fake cancer, and admittedly fake cancer. To me, that's where the line is drawn, where you don't deserve my money.
No. And the thing is that you can't, like Keem said, and like I said last episode, if he is on the podcast, people will forever speculate and theorize he's being paid under the table. And regardless if people like it or not, he's getting paid. He is getting paid because you cannot not pay him if you bought his shares of the show. So he's getting a monthly check from Keemstar, and we know that it's not 60K like Wings thought it would be, but it's gotta be at least,
It's
at least
it's
5
It's
digits,
less than what he
bro.
was getting.
2,000 a month. It's 2,000 a month for 6 months.
I think so.
Zeph, where do you land, Zeph? On he's faked cancer. Is he also faking the mental illness?
So this is actually something I was telling multiple people last night as we were live, because this was an active conversation within the Discords and all that. I personally think it's an exacerbation of a truth that has turned into a lie.
I agree.
This
Yeah,
is
that's what I
something
said.
that there is some, albeit small, probable truth to what he is saying. The unfortunate fact is now he is taking that truth and he's making it a lie. He is exaggerating, he's exacerbating it, he's making it way more worse than what it is, just like with the cancer.
He's embellishing.
There is truth to the fact that he might have cancer. There is truth that he does have cancer, probably. But because he didn't know, and because he didn't have all the facts, and because he purely just made it more into what it was.
He went to Dr. Google for his diagnosis.
Yeah.
No, he went to Dr.
Went-
He went to Dr. Disrespect for it.
Well, here's why I wanted to get everyone's opinion on this, because it's very important. If he is mentally ill, as I've said before,
Yeah.
off the show, right? It's wrong. Keem is pushing someone else to suicide. He's pulling another Etika. He's going to kill this mentally ill person if he's mentally ill. But I think Keem has worked closely enough with him that he knows it's an act. He knows it's fake. Whenever he had that little clip from the last live where he said, "Boogie, you can't come on the show if you're suicidal. You can't do that." And suddenly Boogie is sober and sane. He goes,
Calm.
Mhm.
The whole thing is though,
It's a work.
Like this.
if y'all saw the Destiny when the stream was over and Boogie was on Destiny's stream, he was like, "Well, I thought that was a good show." Like it just immediately.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
it's a work. That's what Keem
think-
even said.
yeah.
that's
So
what happened last night because people brought up like you could see his eyes, like he kept looking somewhere.
Yeah, to
And
his
I
so-called
think-
caretakers.
And I think
Bro, that was
and I
so
think
much
that he was
bullshit.
putting on an act, and as soon as they pulled the plug, it was like literally like Two-Face, like he went back to Stephen
Yes.
Williams or
And
whatever the fuck.
freaking giving up high fives all around. Good show, guys. Good show.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was really good. Like, fuck
one.
you.
Come on.
Yeah, like There's no
I love
way,
that.
bro. Like it's
Front page of Reddit tomorrow.
and
Let's
this
go.
is why I've always said he is as dumb as this motherfucker is. He is still smart because he continues to look like the most pathetic waste of freaking space. But he's making fucking money still. Like he's still there. And this is YouTube. It is a world of if you're entertaining, it doesn't matter what the fuck you do. Like it really doesn't. Look at Vosh. Vosh is still streaming, still making money, still advocating for child porn. Like
Boogie's better than ever now. This is his biggest payday since his heyday.
Yeah.
Like he's doing amazing now.
And if he was just smart, what was that, bud?
Sorry, bud.
I still think he's employed by the show.
Oh, he's being bought out. He's being bought out.
No, because Keem said, "Oh, I can just tear that up." That means that it hasn't been processed. It's not
because
done.
The first payment hasn't been sent. The
Yeah.
first payment has not been sent. And if you paid attention, he says, "I have 6 months of income till I got to figure it out." He also said, "I have to live on $2,000 a month." So if you look at it, that's $12,000. Wings went up there and said, "I think you should have took at least 60, 65." And he even said Wings thinks he should get 5 times what he got, which puts that at that 60, 65,000 mark because 12 times 5 is 60.
But his math though was only off of a yearly salary, not potential salary.
Well, we think.
No,
right?
We know, no, because that's what Wing said. Wing said he went off of a yearly salary, and then he asked Keem, "Would you sell Drama Alert for what it makes yearly?" And Keem immediately was like, "Fuck no, I'd sell it for way more."
Hell no.
Because it's
100%.
you don't sell a company based off of its earnings. You sell it off of based off of its potential earnings in the future.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so here's my whole thing. At what point do we think Keem and Boogie are running a whole thing on the show? Because if you look at it, the last 3 streams, bro, they've gotten over 200,000 views an episode.
Yep.
And the amount of content all the other creators are doing right now around this show, that there's a reason they're number 1 right now. And those past 3 streams really helped with that.
Right.
So my question is, behind the scenes, we don't know what the conversations are, but at some point, this is going to get old. And
I have an idea of how they were going.
Well, Wings even called it out.
What do you say?
Wings even said, like, he said, "How do you keep falling for this to Keem?" Or like, "Do you honestly?" And then he also asked him, like, "Do you honestly believe he would actually kill himself?" Like, he called it out. It was like, "Bro, how do you keep falling for this? Like, how do you keep allowing him to do this?" Like, that's what I hate about people when they're saying he's a master manipulator. No, how is he a master manipulator when literally you can tell him you're faking right now? Like, he's not a master manipulator. He just knows how to feign and cry and whine and do what every 13-year-old girl does after someone breaks up with them. "I'm just gonna kill myself," and then the parents are in the back, sideways for attention, downwards for results. You know, like, fuck that bitch.
Well,
And
months
then all of a
ago,
sudden- One last point.
Go ahead.
Sorry. And now all of a sudden, Boogie has a plan to get his golden plate button back after he took down all his Boogie 2988 shit. If he just gave up $3,000, and then you had Muta, however you say it, he matched him, I think, in good faith because it's a fucking tax write-off.
Right.
So matched him in
That's
good
the thing,
faith for
right?
the show.
That's the worst thing about this, right? And I was just telling this to my fiance, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that part gets me every time.
I'm done.
That part gets me every single time.
Yeah, tax write-off.
They're talking all about, like, he donated $1,000, he donated $3,000. That's a tax write-off at the end of the year. That's gonna help him in his long term. Like he says, "Oh, it hurts. I'm like, "No, it doesn't. Shut the fuck up."
But it doesn't even matter at that point because he only did it to get less heat on him. That's all that matters. It's the same thing if you like get arrested and they flip you. Oh, well, instead of getting 15 to 20, we're going to give you 8 because you went ahead and tattled on your accomplice. That's all that happened. That's all that happened.
Months ago on the show, like, Keem was telling Boogie, "You need to be the villain." And Boogie said that multiple times. And now, what is he on the podcast? He's the villain. Who could believe that any of this is legitimate outside of a few isolated things? Maybe Boogie's pushing it too far sometimes, and that's kind of what is making Keem upset like the fact that he had to call the police, right? Because he's pushing the grift, the fake. He's pushing kind of the acting a little too far for Keem, and that's probably the only frustrating part for him. But he's doing exactly what he was told to do: was play the heel, play the villain role. And
well, here's the other thing too. It also is interesting that all of a sudden they're reading $20 donations and not just $50 donations.
They need, and let me just say this: they need to read every donation.
They do,
and I'll tell you why. They need to read every donation, not just because all other streamers do it. Maybe not all of them, but I know Mr. Medicare does, and I know a handful of other streamers do. But like, from $1 to $100 does not matter. You want more people to donate.
It's support. It's showing it's showing gratitude for people supporting you.
Exactly. Yeah. And it makes you look good. Now, granted, there's a lot of things. Keemstar is weird. He's a weird oddity because he's the only person that can act like a fucking asshole, and people eat it up and they love it. Like, he'll go in the Discord and call us retards, and we're laughing, having a great time. And it's like, he's the only one that can treat fans.
It's authenticity. It's who he is, though. That's the thing. You can
it's
respect,
his charisma.
But it's authenticity too. Like, if that wasn't him behind the scenes, I wouldn't have respect for him. But as somebody who has had DMs with him, it is absolutely who the fuck he is, dude. Like, that's why I can respect it.
That's literally what Charlie, Moist Critical, that's what got him in trouble, because online and you guys don't know about this.
No,
he was literally like shit. He was literally shitting on Prime every chance he got.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he went and did a Mr. Beast thing, he was like, "Oh, like Prime's pretty good," and I immediately started losing some respect for Charlie, and I really liked his content. Charlie. But as soon as I saw him fold like that, I was like, "You bitch! You're such a bitch!"
Especially when he had that amazing W over Cuck Sneeko. Like, bro, you can't turn around and basically say pull up and then turn around and be like, "I'm sorry." Like, you can't do that, man. You need to have the same energy for everybody. And I understand,
just like you say, Plex. 10 toes down until you're 6 feet deep.
Exactly.
All right, so getting back to Boogie, like
that piece
we've established, Boogie's is mentally ill, but he's the bad kind of mentally ill. He's not suicidal. He's not depressed. He's just a monster. He's a guy who doesn't care about who he hurts in order to have his grift. He'll fake the cancer. He'll out that he's faked the cancer for the show to get views on purpose. He'll coordinate with Keem. "Oh, let's have Destiny come on so that I could be outed. And I'm going to ruin this whole thing. I'm going to show that I'm off." I'm actually going to stop
you right there. I want to say something because I actually kind of disagree that every part of it was fake. I think the first 2 streams of the reaction and like the discovery parts of it, I think those were legit. I don't think Boogie had this in his plan book whatsoever.
No.
However,
who would do
the
that?
last stream, whenever Keem was like, "Oh, should we fire Boogie?" That's whenever he was like, "All right, up to this point, it kind of wrote itself. I'm going to write the story now." And he just began to take that udder and milk it. And here we go. And as he's milked it, it's caused more. And I think that's now the conversation. That's kind of what I was going to say. This is what I think has happened behind the scenes now. We have Boogie, who has unfortunately been outed. He is going, "Damn it. Like, I can't believe like I let this get out." And then Keemstar's like, "Who cares? Let's make money out of it." And Boogie's like, "You got a point."
Yeah, I don't think Boogie actually cares about being outed for the cancer because he still came out and said that he did. Like he still did it. Like it wasn't ever in his portal. He literally looked at everybody on live stream, reading his portal, was going blah blah blah, polycythemia vera, blah 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 blah, and we're like, "You don't care."
He looked his daughter in the eyes and said, "Do you see the polycythemia fucking lies?" And she was like, "Yep, I see them.
Exactly.
I see them right there, right next to the polycythemia, still fucking lying." Like it's ridiculous.
Here's how you know, and that it's just gonna continue. On the literal stream of him being before getting outed for faking cancer, he literally said he was gonna continue working with the freaking stupid crypto bros. It's like, the whole crypto thing, I don't give 2 shits and a fuck about it. But you got outed. You need to put that down. You cannot keep doing it because you're either you're gonna keep doing it and you're not gonna give a shit about the controversy, which we all know isn't gonna be the case, or you let it die and walk away. And what do we have now? Screenshots of freaking the crypto bros saying that they just signed a new deal, or they just signed a new deal with Boogie to make more videos. So he's still getting paid. This motherfucker has money. He still has money.
He was going to get paid more than the show. Remember that. He was going to get paid more than the show. We got to put that out there.
Well, not only that, but he's going to probably now because of all of this, he has a better ability to renegotiate what he's going to make, because he has millions of eyes on him now. Millions. He went from tens of thousands to millions of people talking about him. He was trending on YouTube. That's like the first time in how many years, you know? Yeah. Like he could take that 5,000 and say 15.
And I gotta say, as an ex-Boogie fan, I am so sick of seeing this motherfucker's face. I mean, my whole YouTube is
it's everywhere.
And has been since Destiny came on the first time. I mean, I've been refreshing my homepage, and every time it's just like the man who lied, fat fuck.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm over it, bro.
Ridiculous. I'm so sick of seeing his face, his big ass teeth, his little glasses. Like, I would punch a man with glasses and it would be Boogie. And I'm a man with glasses. There's glasses on glasses crime.
Yeah, you know, he's probably lying about the fact that he can't see anyways. He probably just thinks that'll make him look smarter.
Those are probably fake. They probably don't even have actual lenses in them.
Just like Desi, bro. Just like Desi.
He's for sure lying about cancer, right? Sorry about that, Ken. He's for sure lying about cancer. So that makes me think he's even lying about his fake reveal and being caught. And the reason for that is, we've already agreed, he's lying about being mentally ill. That's a thing that he's been hammering down like time after time again.
I think he's lied about the mental illnesses. I 100% think he is narcissistic. He's not covert. He just latched onto that word because somebody called him that one time. He's 100% narcissistic. Cool. Yeah, he's 100% narcissistic. He attempts to be manipulative, but he's only able to do it to fucking, baby alcohol fetal syndrome babies like his daughter. Other than that, if you were raised by meth heads, you might be able to get manipulated by a fat fuck on the internet. But if you're just a regular everyday person who, mentally developed normally, you see right through it.
Well, he's lying.
I don't buy how they met, bro. I do not buy how they met, because she reached out to him on Instagram and he wanted to I guess push her off. He thought it was just another fan. And he talked to people and they said, yes, you're in your late 40s. Talk to this 20-some-year-old because she's meant to be with you.
Oh, no.
Because your friends will say that. Your friends are going to reach out and say, this is a good idea.
What healthy person would tell a 48-year-old man that?
No. We have to remember, she messaged him when she was 17. Not when she was in her 20s. Remember, she was 15 in 2008. Or 2018. 2018. That 18. Sorry, 2018.
That'd be great.
Right. Sorry. So he even screenshotted and sent out his message of the first time that she messaged him, and I think she was 17 years old at that point. But here's the issue, right? People have been tracking and trying to find, and I'll definitely put it up and I'll try and find it. But there's theorizing that they were in a relationship during one of his vlogs already when she was 17. Now, this is entirely possible, but here's also some other news that this is all theory. This is all speculation and theory. I have only a single screenshot of this. Allegedly, I can't put this to any degree as much of an investigation I've been doing, and trust me, I have been searching the farms. Allegedly, she started dating at 13 with meth head parents. Yes, people. Oh, no. Yes. So allegedly, she started dating at 13.
Well, they probably fucking sold time with her, the dudes, to get shit, because drug addicts with the kid, I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, and see, that's the whole reason why I say with Boogie, I believe that some fucked up incestual shit was going on in his house, but I feel like what has always occurred is that people get tired of the same old, oh well, I was molested, and then you have to go into detail to start proving your case, basically. And you know, it was even brought up on the podcast where it's like Keem even said, and many of people have said this, you utilize your supposed mental illness, your rape, your molestation, your blah 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 blah, you use it as a sword and a shield when the topic has nothing to do with it.
Yep. All of a sudden, oh, I was molested, I have cancer. Like I can't, you know, whenever the pot starts to boil, he breaks that shit out because he don't want it to get to a full rumble.
Yeah, he's like a fucking coconut crab being steamed, bro, just screaming.
Even to start with, it's a lie. He was never molested even once. And I can tell you why. Because he, for a second, brought up that being fed pizza was a form
of abuse.
Bro,
okay? I was just shaking my head. I was like, bro.
Well, here's the other thing.
I'm not a skinny guy.
Here's the other
skinny guy. I wasn't a skinny kid either. Like, but to say, like his version and his retelling of him, like I can understand to an extent like what he was trying to say. His mom.
No, he led with that.
Foods.
No, he led with that. But to go and be like,
it was a form. Yeah, to make it seem like it was in some way, shape, or form her way of trying to keep him away from dating women. Like, I can understand it seems. I'm sorry. It seems like you watched a fucking TLC movie and just copied the script.
Yeah.
Like you have to. You have
lifetime movie, bro. Get it right.
What? They're the same shit, different fucking channel. But
I think it's more. He's trying to do more fat acceptance bullshit. Because he started saying like, "Oh, this is self-harm. Look at how fat I am. This is self-harm." Like, "Oh, I don't drink diet because I love it. This is hurting."
I fucking wish that during some of the darkest times in my life, I fucking wish drinking Mountain Dew could have caused me enough pain to forget shit. As a vet, as somebody who has survived some shit, it's like you hear somebody talk about bullshit like that and he trying to equate it to some sort of self-harm. Sure, it's self-hatred. It's not self-harm. It's self-hatred.
Yeah, there's a difference.
You hate the way you look. Yeah, you don't take care of yourself because you hate the way you look. It's too hard, blah, 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 blah. So you don't want to try and take care of yourself because you just don't like yourself. As somebody who has previously been obese in his life, I understand that. But as to call it a form of self-harm, bro, no. And I can't believe Wings, of all people, did not jump on him for that. Somebody who has literally told stories of him crying in McDonald's parking lots while eating fucking Big Macs and then going home and having dinner, you know, with the girlfriend and like hiding food and hiding like, how do you?
That's some sad shit, bro.
Yeah, and
I believe him.
I believe him 100%. Yeah, you want to know why I believe him? Because he told that story back in fucking 2006 on PKA. Like he has, like Wings, 100%. I will say, eating is a form of self-harm. I can 100% see that because this man has been so raw and so open about his hatred for himself and his hatred for his love of food. Or not his love of food, but his dependency on food. Boogie, on the other hand, I hate myself. I just need Zimbound, though. But I really, really hate myself. But if I could get Zimbound, but I really, really just want to die. But it's Zimbound. It's like, go, bro.
Well, think about the list of accusations that he had levied against his mom, dad, and sister who molested him.
And apparently a fourth unknown, supposedly unknown and unnamed abuser.
He's just throwing that out there.
Muda broke it down and said it was his sister. His sister.
Oh,
yeah. He fucked his sister. Supposedly. Yeah, they had a mutual, consensual, incestuous relationship. What was going on.
Yeah.
To his knowledge, it's not out of the norm for children to do that.
Oh, yeah, it's totally normal.
Hey, when you live in Arkansas, bro, kissing cousins, brother, that's why it comes from there. I'm telling you. That's why I said, that's exactly why I said, it makes sense why some freaking meth head trailer trash, you know, goddamn dumpster baby called Desi works so well with him. Because she's just as fucked up as he is.
They feed off each other, bro.
I bet his sister looked just like Desi when they
No.
were kids.
She doesn't actually.
No,
She doesn't now.
She old as fuck.
Yeah, she's old now. I'm talking about when they were kids.
When they were younger.
I bet they look similar.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
I
he
mean,
keeps Ted Bundying it, right?
yeah,
Keeps
copy
getting
and
the
paste.
same chick over and over again.
Yep,
We're
copy
calling
and
you
paste
out,
of his
Sister
Long
wife.
ago.
2988. We're calling you out, Sister 2988. Come out on the podcast.
We invited him. We invited him.
Well,
We did reach out.
When you have a list that's
Mhm.
as good as being cut, burnt, choked, slapped, broken,
Bro.
screamed at,
Yeah.
tortured, both mentally and physically. My mother forced my sister to have sex with me.
He grabbed
My-
his dick and twisted.
Yeah,
He made
my
a
mother
pretzel out
grabbed
that
my
bitch.
dick, gave me the purple nurple on my
She made that bitch a
nurple.
blade blade.
Yeah, right? She turned
like
my
all
choker
that-
into
listen,
Beyblade.
All that shit was copy and paste from
Bullshit,
Google, bro.
But
All that
pizza,
shit was-
though.
Right.
But pizza. We got to get that out of the way first. That is what really hurts. She would feed my brother. I'm not going to say anything specific. I presume salad and a wonderful
Pizza.
array of cooked meats. And she'd
Yeah,
make me
not
the pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, she forced me to eat it.
travesty.
Yeah,
And I
a
hate
freaking-
pizza so much. To this day, I don't eat pizza.
What?
Because it's so torturous. The PTSD from the pizza.
What kid in the fucking 80s would have complained about getting pizza every fucking day, bro?
Bro, what kid what
Boogie.
nowadays would complain about that?
Facts, bro. I mean, I would complain about it now as somebody who has to buy it because of inflation.
would,
Thanks, Joe
100%
Biden. But, dude, no, it's this as somebody who has worked manual labor practically since I was 14. I have when he was called out about where the cigarettes burns were, I can guarantee you I have more fucking cuts and scars on my hands than he has on his entire goddamn body. I have put goddamn drill bits into my hands. I have shaved my fucking knuckles. I have freaking put nails through my hand. Like, I have scars on my hands, and I can easily take pictures and show it. This motherfucker pulls his goddamn shirt up saying, "Oh, this is where I was burned," but all you see is some pasty white blob. Bro, get the fuck out of here.
Fangs.
Here are some quotes from Boogie from the graphic that was shared around behind the scenes. And I don't know if you want to pull this up or edit this on. As a rape survivor, I would rather be raped again than deal with online harassment.
Yeah,
Also-
Jesus, stop it, bro.
Comparing my divorce to my rape is my choice. And this one is great. I forgave my abusers, my rapist, online critics.
That man spitting.
Jesus.
Hey,
Yeah,
that first
So
quote,
much abuse.
That first quote, he must be real loose back there if he's willing to take that. Yeah, I'm just saying. That man ain't never been constipated.
He would rather be raped than go on LolCow Live, is basically what he's saying.
Exactly.
I would rather be raped
Then do
than
my
go
job.
and go on Keemstar's
Then-
podcast.
Yeah, then
And
do my
have
fucking
people
job.
peppering me. Yeah, like, oh, it's just so bad. I wish I could go back to the rape. That's what I'm dreaming of. But
Yeah,
but if I'm getting paid, though, I mean, I guess, I guess that means someone could.
I'm not gonna lie though. I guarantee you, Boogie probably goes to bed some nights going, "Damn, if I could have just like actually been raped, shit would be better for me." Like, you got to think about when the
I
whole
actually had cancer right
Yeah,
now.
if I actually had
my life
cancer.
would be a little bit better.
bro. And
All I'm
that's
saying is,
Mhm.
go ahead.
I was just real quick. It's like that is the craziest part of this whole ordeal. When people literally are saying like, "Oh, this, that, and the third," or like Speedy Bird had said, like, "You guys all realize this is BS," and I'm like, I have never in my fucking life thought that I would have to hope somebody had cancer and was raped as a child just so that way I didn't hate them. Like, I have never in my goddamn life.
I refuse to.
And that's why I'm saying
I would never wish that on a kid.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. I don't
it's
give
like
a fuck.
but that's the only way to defend him is if it happened. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. There is no other way to defend him unless that shit actually happened.
Well, you know what we got to do? We got to
Go
rate
ahead,
them.
bud. Go
Shut
ahead.
up! Shut up! Damn it!
We gotta edit it. We gotta
I
edit that out.
unmuted myself just to say shut up.
Dang.
I can't wait for it to just be bleep and all of us are just lit up.
Well, what we're doing is a lot worse than what his parents and his sister did to him. Right
Apparently.
now, we're the rapists in Boogie's life right now because we're criticizing him online
Hell
for
yeah.
lying, for faking everything.
Yeah,
We should not.
Well, look.
continue.
Well, look.
you started it, but you
But
can't.
I can't. I was going to say that. I can't.
Yeah.
But let's just say, so tomorrow he's supposed to go on the show, and according to the LolCow Live Twitter, it says
Be
Boogie will
punished.
receive his punishment for faking cancer. So I guess we're
Exactly.
still on the cancer. So here's my thing. If he comes on the show and he says I lied about my abuse, none of it is true. Where does the show even go? Like, how do you pick up the pieces and keep it moving? 'Cause I don't see. I know Keem is a genius, and I know that. But the thing is, Boogie will always be that person. Like, I know we said faking cancer and all that shit, but now I didn't think he could get any lower than faking cancer.
Right.
But if
I don't think
he's-
any of us did.
but faking child
Sexual,
molestation and
mental,
rape, sexual
yeah, mental abuse. Like,
if that comes out, like, in y'all's opinion, where does the show even go?
let's start with the one
Boogie's
boogie
zone
lover.
art.
Let's start with the one boogie lover here, bud.
Yeah, bud, what you got?
Well, I mean, I'll say this. I don't think that Boogie lied about all of his abuse. I mean, come on. He's had to have some. And the reason I say this is because his sister tweeted that she apologized for going at Boogie so hard on a phone call because it just that video rehashed a lot of old stuff for her. So there was obviously something that was going on in their childhood. And I don't know if y'all have ever seen the video of his mom, but the bitch dude looked kind of crazy.
You know,
Like, she's at a-
honestly,
Yeah.
this is honestly what I think happened. He is the youngest of the siblings. So I
Yes.
think he was told by his other siblings what happened to them. And as
Yep.
time went on, he just adopted
Munchausen
theirs.
by proxy.
Exactly. He
That's
just
also fair.
adopted their story and started telling it as his own in order to get sympathy. Because his brother was in college while he was supposedly getting, fucked and all
The
that.
diddle.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like he infantilized the amount of sympathy that he probably saw his brother and his sister getting from people as they told those stories, and he just me too'd it, bro. He me too'd the fuck out of his life. Like, oh my god.
Well, he admitted having the sexual relationship with his sister.
Yeah. He
So
did.
we do know something happened, and she was removed from the home. Now,
She was removed from that home and the foster home as well.
right. So if there's a lot of abuse going on in the home from both parents, and you have, I think they said it's DCFS in their state, come in and look at the whole, they don't look at one child, right? They look at the whole home situation. They're going to know which kids are getting abused and how badly when they're doing this type of investigation. What they likely found, and which there's no way to ever know because it's looking at juvenile records, right, is that Boogie and his sister are engaged in a sexual relationship. We need to separate these two. Okay. Boogie said before that he's been the loved one of the family. He's the child of the family. He gets such good treatment. I think that's more honest about what his childhood was actually like.
Yeah.
And then later, he starts talking about all this sexual abuse. By the way, the evidence for this is like 3 years old. It just hadn't come out yet because people weren't really mad at him about being on LolCow Live, but they're mad at him about lying about cancer. But all of these details about his molestation and rape and whatever have come out between 2012 and 2019, with the bulk of it being in 2019. It's all directly connected to online hate campaigns, people going after him, harassing him. That's when it comes up. He's bringing up stuff. He's making up shit, just like cancer, to try and get sympathy, to try and have a shield against the trolls. He doesn't care about reality. He just cares about like, oh, don't give me online harassment. And that's all that it is. He'll say anything to stop the online harassment.
Yeah, it's the sword and the
basically
shield.
You're saying he fucked his sister, but he had an ongoing relationship with the sister. Nothing happened with the parents. He was just trying to compound on to try and get sympathy. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. And that's also why he keeps saying,
allow
you
me
know,
to
like,
put-
oh, my parents are gone, so I'll talk about it.
Yeah, can't
My
defend
sister's
themselves.
still alive, so I won't.
Right. Well, allow me to just put this one PSA out there as a parent, or not as a parent. I am not a parent. As somebody who has a parent, as somebody who has a parent who is a social worker and has worked with DCHS and stuff of that nature, I want to just put this complete umbrella out there that in no way, shape, or form do they handle situations as well as they should. We are not stating that that DCHS was in some way infallible in this, that they couldn't have made a mistake, that Boogie could have actually been in worse danger than he was. What we are saying, or at least me, I will say it's just me, is saying is that we have zero evidence to back up the veracity and the validity of what he is saying, because it sounds it sounds way more like a mixture of what I said and a mixture of what Chill said, that the adults or the older siblings got abused way more and they trickled their abuse down to Boogie. I think what happened is mommy and daddy diddled them and then they went and diddled him. And that's probably the reason why it happened, and why a lot of the stories, a lot of his supposed abuse stories stopped so much after the sister was taken away from the home.
But he did say that the mom went up to like right when he was 18, but he'd have to go home during college. He may have compounded that just to add to the story to gain more sympathy.
But he also said that the first time that she raped him was when she was 5, and then also said that she never touched him until he was 11.
He said that he experienced rape and daily beatings, and his daily beatings were cutting, being slapped, having things broken. Right.
Did he say he was also never penetrated outside of a finger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which would
here's
mean
the thing.
There's inconsistencies.
Yeah, there's so many.
If you have regular, frequent abuse, if something's broken, he claims that something was broken, right? That's a doctor's visit. Right. Then you have a doctor looking at a child and seeing like, oh, there's all this other shit going on. Wow, this kid must get outside a lot. But then he sees this little fat kid, right? So he's like, no, this little fat kid doesn't get out a lot. Like, there are other adults involved in his life that would have been able to see the abuse that would have happened if you believe him.
School teachers never said anything.
Mandatory reporters.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the thing is, he grew up in the 80s, right? So I don't know what it was.
It's a lot worse back then than it is now, that's for sure.
Yeah, they didn't have mandatory reporting back then.
Well, it was also like knocking a bottle over your kid's head was seen more as discipline than abuse back in the day. So,
exactly right. So that's really hard to say, but I mean, I would go as far as
that's the problem with all of this, and I think Kmplxity kind of hit it on the head. Like we may be entirely wrong, but the problem isn't necessarily that we don't believe Boogie. It's just that he has set it up to where it's extremely hard to believe.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not necessarily that we don't want to, and that we don't have some sympathy for the fact that these things could have very possibly happened. It's the fact that we have inconsistencies, 1, in his story, and 2, we have a proven liar telling us a story that is serious. Like I had so much doubt that the whole cancer thing was fake. I had so much doubt because I was like, who fakes cancer, right? Like everybody who did that. That's literally what so many people were like, there's no way that this Mr. Rogers of the internet is going to fake cancer.
Well, not even Mr. Rogers.
Well.
It's not even him being Mr. Rogers of the internet. It's how can you be that pathetic? Like, how? Yeah. How? Like,
most people who come forward with cancer or child abuse, Like, they're not really questioned. We're not really thinking like that people are regularly making up these incredibly either serious things or even embarrassing things, right? And that's where I was even just a week ago with Boogie. It is,
Oh, I
you know,
remember.
let's give him
I
a
remember.
chance. Yeah, maybe he's just an idiot, right?
Right.
Maybe he's just dumb and exaggerating and going too far. And now we've seen enough to know that he's calculating. He is an idiot, but he's not that much of an idiot.
He's
And
smart enough to know when to use it.
And
Yeah,
fat.
he's a serious conniving liar.
Well,
And
I
fat.
Here's
just
the last thing.
I just want to
Here's
say
the
this and then
last
I'll
thing
pass
I'll
it
say.
back. Oh, okay, go for it.
But I just got one last thing to say.
Mhm.
I really truly hope he's not lying, because I would not wish that on any child. No child should have to go through any of that. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
And it's like I said last episode, he has become Peter and the Wolf. So it's to the point. I'm just gonna say, when the cancer thing started and he finally admitted it was a lie, that everything has to be verified before he's taken serious about anything.
Right.
And unfortunately, we're at a point where he's right. He can't prove something that happened in 1983. There's no way to do it.
Right.
So-
well, that's kind of where I was gonna go, because there is.
All right. Yeah.
So this
Well, there
is
you go. So
this. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. So if he is telling the truth, him and his brother both, and his sister, because I do believe she has corroborated this, that DCHS, and for people who do not know, that is the Department of Child Safety
Health
and
and
shit
Human
like that.
Services.
Yeah. It's basically, it might be different for whatever state that you're in. Basically,
Yeah.
it's
DCFS
just
for me.
yeah,
That's the
DCFS. Yeah, it's for people. It's social workers who protect children, or are supposed to, basically. So if they legitimately took her from that home, there has to be a record. There has
There's
to
public
be a
records
record.
for it, yeah.
Yes,
Well, not
exactly.
public records, but yeah.
But there's could be, depending on if police have been called at any point in time, those are public records. So if she was actually removed, even if it's not a public fucking record, people know her name. Put her, if there's a file, or if he can prove that there is a DCHS file of his sister, it at least validates something. Some sort of like part of his story is true, you know? But he is so reluctant to try and give any sort of information. And the reason for it is because it's always fucking flimsy. It's always some trust me bro shit, some sympathy bait bullshit. And I don't know about any of you guys. I have never met somebody in my entire life who had been raped and decided to go on a fucking press tour about it. You know,
Bro, let's talk about that for a brief second. He literally starting before Mr. Medicare blessed us with his presence in that stream. And supposedly when he called Team was like, "You're not going to talk about my sexual abuse. You're not going to talk about my sexual abuse." On stream, he's like, "You're not going to talk about that person. You're not going to talk about that person. I refuse. I refuse. I refuse." But he willingly calls her midstream, just so that way he can corroborate something that he's like some
And the brother.
small little
And the
factoid.
brother.
and that's the crazy thing,
Yeah.
right? The
Well,
amount
she
of
asked not to be online anymore.
Yeah, and he
Okay,
lies.
and
He
that's-
doesn't even tell her why she's there. And that's,
Yeah.
that's the thing. He is only willing to protect them unless it benefits him, because that is the one and only one W he got that stream. That's the only one. Because he was so not ready to talk to them, talk about her, anything. But he saw, oh, wait a minute, she can actually prove I'm telling the truth. Fuck her. And secondly, this motherfucker pulled the I have a black family card. I have a black in my family.
Such a
joke.
His sister's husband, I am sorry, don't get me wrong, I understand light-skinned is a thing, but that man is so light-skinned he could probably join the Aryan Brotherhood. I am sorry. Their kids are even whiter than he is, and he looks Hawaiian-ish. Like,
That
does.
part doesn't even matter. His sister doesn't sound black. She sounds Southern.
yes.
And Wings was referring, it sounds like this Southern belle makes good Southern fried chicken.
exactly.
That's the point he's making. Boogie,
That was a good joke.
Like,
was a great
Hops-
joke.
It was a fantastic, it was a fantastic one-liner. And Boogie just, all he did was see, oh, maybe I can get the attention on the Winks. Did not work in any way. Everybody knew what he was saying. There were it like, oh, why? Because her kids are black, and I'm like, bro, I'm obviously gonna show a picture of like her husband, but not of her kids. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
But they are light skinned, Boogie. Like, if you got a tan, you would look like them. Like, they are like, he made it sound like, you know, the difference between them and midnight was 11:59. That ain't the shit that was going on there, you know?
The
Yeah,
husband's probably
Boogie-
mixed in
Boogie-
some form or fashion.
Yeah,
Boogie's the racist. Every single time Muda comes on,
Curry.
he starts saying curry,
yeah.
sacred cow. He started saying sacred cow the other time that Muda was on.
Yup.
Like
He calls
just
him daddy or daddy doctor or doctor daddy or something like that. Like, we can't all
Yeah.
have
to be
daddy
fa-
doctor.
to be fair, Mudahar in that instance was like, Dr. Gupta, do I need to bring Dr. Gupta?
Well, no,
It's
he- that
okay.
was-
But that was a
he
joke.
can joke at himself. Yeah,
But
he can
li-
joke
dude.
with himself about
Yeah.
it. Like, it's his race. He can own his own identity. Boogie's just a racist who hates Indians. And he hates Muda as an extension
I don't
because
know
he's
if he,
Indian.
here's my thing. I don't know if he's actually a racist. I think he is 100% an opportunist and is willing to go as low as he can in order to win.
Hey, it's Andy Kaufman, bro. It's Andy Kaufman jokes.
Oh,
No,
it's
yeah,
Andy
yeah.
Kaufman.
The only
I've got a
thing
graphic
him and Andy Kaufman
off
have
here.
in common is the weight.
I've got a graphic off here to the side that's from the KiwiFarms thread. These two tweets are on the same day. Okay? And I'll get this over to you so you can have it
Drop
on.
the date. Drop the
Okay.
date.
January 4th, 2019. These two tweets are the same day.
We might have the
There's
same
a
ones.
lot. Yeah, there is a lot of things that I try to be open-minded about. Literally almost everything. People who abuse their kids should be hung. Give me the rope, I will tie the noose. The next
Fair
tweet.
point.
The next tweet. Through years of practice and therapy,
Oh,
I
yeah.
learned to forgive my
Yep.
parents for my rape and my physical and mental abuse. I learned to see them as people and not monsters.
Yep.
Same
Okay.
day.
Same
the same
day,
day.
So that's
How
why
good-
I'm saying he again, mental illnesses, but it's just like the cancer. It's not the actual thing. He could be manic. He could absolutely be manic and bipolar. But
It has been for years.
yeah, and just there is people who are undiagnosed bipolar. Hell, my best friend was undiagnosed autistic until like a year and a half ago. And that's all. And the crazy thing is like once they actually found out that they were autistic and then we started reading about it, I'm like, oh yeah, oh, it totally makes sense. This, that, and the third. Oh, you do all that dumb shit. Like,
Bro, you know what's funny? So when I was 18, they wanted me to take in like the ADD test, right? And my mom was like, "Why? Like he's about to graduate. Like why?" They were like, "We just want to, or whatever." So I went and I took it, and it was inconclusive. So the doctor was like, "I'm gonna give you one more test." I'm like, "Okay." So she said, "I'm gonna give you 6 words, and I'm identifying them like 1, whatever, 2, whatever." She was like, "I'm gonna say the words in different order, and I want you to tell me the words in the order of the numbers I gave you." I was like, "Okay." So I got the first 3 right, and then I got the next 4 wrong. And she was like, "Yeah, you're borderline." I was like, "That's the test?" I'm like, over half of America probably couldn't make it past 2.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think I
Yeah.
the only
And- but no,
reason. Mhm.
It was like, "Yeah, you're borderline." I'm like, "Thanks, appreciate it." Like that does nothing for me. This is a whole fucking. It was 3 hours of my life I'll never get
Oh
back.
god,
That's
yeah,
a
yeah.
grift. That's just a grift at that point.
The only reason I think I might even slightly consider having ADHD is due to the fact that coffee and energy drinks chill me out. Like I am typically hyper, but once I get like energy drinks or some sort of like some sort of extra caffeine, it mellows me out. And there are times I have to stop drinking coffee because it literally makes me narcoleptic.
You should try crack.
You know, I could give that a
It
go.
will.
I have
Just
a
say
I have
you
a
have
connect. I mean, I haven't, but I could
Hey.
definitely get some. Dude, it's just it's It is completely unfortunate when you are hoping that some of the worst things in life happen to somebody, so that way you aren't disappointed in them as a human being. And that's the other thing. I don't look at him as a human being anymore. I really don't. I look at him more as just a thing that people poke at for entertainment now. And that's
He's a
all.
living organism.
Yeah,
That's what he is.
no, I don't even know about a LolCow. Like, he literally is like, at this point, he's just like Dance Monkey. Like, pull him out on the chain, give him a little prodding, do something funny, you know, be entertaining. Okay, now go back in your cage and shut up.
Was that because his sister's kids is black? Complexity, is that what you said?
No, he's a horror cow. He's a horror cow.
He's
at this
getting
point.
close. He's
Yeah.
getting close.
Like-
yeah.
I can see that.
And he needs to be tortured until he's broken, is what I feel like. I'm starting to come back around now that I don't think he's mentally ill. He should stay on the show. He should be brought back. But the torture needs to never, ever end.
Here's a good idea. You want to know how the fuck you get him back on the show? A perfect punishment for somebody like Boogie? Survive a season of Fish Tank.
Oh my god.
Survive. Could you imagine Boogie in a fucking household that is live 24/7 with like 30 other loud, obnoxious, annoying, willing to shit on a rug and look at, like, you know what, like, survive a season of Fish Tank,
Sam,
bro.
please. Somebody, please, if you're listening, and I know you're not, but please.
I mean, hey, I could maybe get myself on the next live and float it out there. Or I think that would be an amazing punishment. The only issue about it is, like, obviously Keem would have to in some way, shape, or form work out a deal or like a contract with him, because that would make Fish Tank so much fucking money. That would make Fish Tank a fuck ton of money. And you know for a fact Keem is like, this is my steak
He wants a slice of it.
Yeah, this
He
is
wants
my
a slice
steak
of it.
dinner.
Well, see, here's it. But if he bought Boogie out, he has no right to do that.
No, you're
Well,
not
he
wrong.
didn't.
You're
He
not
didn't,
wrong.
though.
You're not wrong, but he
if he
could.
legit.
But he could always turn around and say, if you go on there and don't and we don't work this out, you're never coming back on LolCow Live, because Fish Tank is just temporary. LolCow Live is forever, as Keem thinks, as Keem says.
Well, on that note, let's go ahead and wrap this shit up. We've been talking about a dead horse for a very long time.
No, the problem is he's not dead.
Yeah, he's alive, and he will be for a long
I
time.
disavow everything he just said. I don't want him to die.
Yeah,
We're not.
we're not.
I don't want him to die. I do want him to learn some kind of lesson. But yeah, I don't think he was ever actually fired from the show.
No.
Mainly just because he's been on every live since he quote unquote got fired, and B, he's doing his punishment tomorrow, and then the next time he can come on the show, no fucking problem. Because
Yeah,
he's done
dude,
his
I
punishment.
love getting fired from a job and still just showing up and working. Like, it's the best
Dude,
part.
I'm going to Waffle House tomorrow to
Yeah, there you
flip some fucking waffles, dude. Get ready.
Yeah, it's fucking
Fuck it.
crazy.
He's got to obey Keem. Keem told him that he can't go on any social media. He can't stream on Twitch because Daddy Keem told him
Straight
you can only come
fuck
on LolCow.
Yeah.
Bitch, bro.
Yeah, I
Straight
never,
bitch.
you know, at least one thing I had above him over Destiny was that he wasn't a cuck, but this dude's slowly becoming Cuckstony as well. Like, it's just like, bro, how are you gonna be whipped like that, man? Be like, and even Wings said it. Even Wings was like, you could literally go live and probably pull like 15 to 20,000 people. Because
Oh my God, easily.
Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like
Especially right
imagine,
now.
like just super chat me and I'll just read it off.
He's been trending on Twitter for a week and a half
Exactly.
alone, like just Twitter. And maybe not every day, you know, you see him on there, but like Boogie's been trending for like a hot minute ever since the Destiny thing.
Oh, because of him, I have found some like content creators.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
Now, I
Right,
think
Phil, what you got,
Boogie.
bro?
I think Boogie is 100% lying. I don't think that his friend Chad lives with him. I don't think he's dating Desi. He's wearing a fat suit. His name isn't Steven. He's not even Boogie. I don't believe a single solitary thing that he says, and I won't believe anything even with proof at this point. I just want to see the guy get tortured until he breaks.
Beautiful. Bud, what you got?
I think ChillForce does not like Boogie. It's just conspiracy. I'm just guessing. I just don't think he does. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, look, I've been watching Boogie for years, like since 2010, since Ray William Johnson shouted out his video about the World of Warcraft getting hacked. I've been watching dude for years. And just since 2017, it's really been just like a disappointing thing. But it's gone from like being a fan that's like not even a fan, but like being a watcher that's just sad to see him go through this.
He a fan.
A little bit. I was back in the gap, not gonna lie. But it's just it went from being sad to watch to now I'm really just here for the entertainment. I don't want to watch him die. I don't want to watch him commit suicide on camera. Of course, but like, you know, you're just a guy on the internet, dude. Like I'm just watching you at this point. That's where I'm at.
Beautiful. Zeph, what you got?
Oh man, like I said earlier, I was really hoping.
Flex,
I was really hoping. Fuck you, kid. I was really hoping that Boogie wouldn't be lying about the cancer thing, and then like I said, like it has changed my entire perspective because I thought I could trust him, and now I don't. And so when I was listening to the whole abuse and him retelling everything, one, I don't believe that somebody who's been abused like that is just going to go on the internet and just talk about it. And two, I just kind of toned it out. Like I don't. It was just depressing and nasty.
Beautiful.
For me, my closing thoughts, the rational side of my brain says, you know what, like obviously he can make a comeback. Like I said, if he was smart and did the entertaining thing, people wouldn't give a shit. I mean, again, Vosh is still streaming. The other side of my brain that just hates him, I say, fuck it, do it live. Pull the trigger live. I'll donate.
I disavow that. I don't agree with anything he's saying right now.
You don't have to worry. He'll never do it.
He won't.
Yeah, he won't.
I was going to say
he's
he's a self-proclaimed narcissist. He won't ever do something like that live.
Yeah, he lied. He said he doesn't have mirrors. He does. He just has them at 5'8".
So he's not just a narcissist. He's a covert narcissist. Like no one will ever know that he's a narcissist ever. Because he's so covert about it.
Just like nobody will ever notice him hiding behind a basketball pole.
Exactly.
That was racist.
Beautiful.